The market doesn't give a shit about you. So always take that into consideration whenever you're playing these plays, is that you're just riding a wave of rich people. Okay, so I have a updated entry. So the previous video, I made a video about how my entry was going to be at targeting these highs, and it was a little bit closer to this point, and I went into a long position. The position actually, as you can see, it started consolidating, and right when it got around here, I decided to close out for a net profit. Now it's not significant, but the reason why I decided to close out was because I felt like it was too early of a call, given that we were starting to make lower highs here. And usually on a reversal on a new low, quote unquote, because this is a 1 hour, because we're not looking at the 4 hour, because this would be a higher low if we were looking at the 4 hour, right? But this is a common buying zone for buyers. This is a strong support level, right? And what we're starting to see now is an ascending wedge here. I'm sorry, not an ascending wedge. This is just a flag pattern, right? But we're starting to get higher lows on the new local low right here. So consider this a 1 hour time frame. This is a new low. We just wiped out all these people over here. We just wiped out all the buyers here, and buyers stepped up and completely held down this position, which means there's a strong indication that buyers are going to be stepping in the next time it comes back down here, which is great. So what we want to do is target the highs by identifying where the new low is, identifying for reversal, and reversals on local lows are when we start forming higher lows, right? And when we form higher lows, sometimes on new lows, you can use an SMT as an identification and compare pairs, right? So ETH on the 1 hours, oh, look at that breakout. So I'm about to get in this position pretty soon, but we're making higher highs. I'm sorry, yeah, we're making higher highs on the 1 hour time frame here. I want to get into a position around here because then I want to confirm that we can make higher highs from this breakout point. And if we can break out from here, I'm not looking for this one. I'm looking for this one over here because we already confirmed higher lows here, and we also confirmed strong buyer support, and we have an entire gap to fill. Because we've done it before, we've made this mark and we've made this mark, right? But because there's strong support here, my thesis is if we create higher lows and if we can break out from these points, I can start my entry position here, set a stop loss to where in case we start making lower lows and lower highs, then this would be a market continuation to the downside, and it would actually it would probably attempt to fulfill this trend that's going on a macro. This buying zone would definitely be tested, and if they crack this buying zone, then we would start seeing new lows all the way down to here is my belief. But that's for another story. Right now, the story that's being told is flag pattern. Buyers and sellers right now are sort of in a conundrum. We don't know who's going yet, but if you use the flag pattern as sort of a indication as to where price is moving, we can see that price is swinging to the upside and is actually breaking through the pattern. Am I a fan of these patterns? No, but is this a bonus as to where we're going? Yes, right? I'm not buying off of this. I'm not buying off this breakout. This could easily be just a sweep on sellers, and buyers are holding strong, right? But this could easily be a sweep and then also a sweep on the downside for all I know. I want a breakout on the 1 hour time frame. I want to break out at these zones. This is where sellers are holding very strong. Sellers rejected this price point. Sellers rejected this price point. If we can get an indication off of here, followed by a slight correction, we'd wipe out the sellers here. So we'd sweep all these selling zones, right? We take out all these stop losses, would come back, and that would be the look for the entry, which is why I marked my entry position here. 3.25 ratio, like I said, my stop loss is beneath lower lows if we decide to continue downtrend, and the position that I'm looking for is here for take profits, which is the local high. None of these plays are 100% correct. I'm not a financial advisor and nothing's guaranteed, but we are using our strategy and our identifications to evaluate and to understand the structure for these levels, and we use these as indications for higher probability trades so that we don't gamble, and rather we're choosing to make suggested risky plays, suggested calculated plays that are risk calculated, you could say. So doing this on a consistent basis diminishes the concept of gambling when it comes to trading. It turns you from a gambler into a trader because you are disciplined to commit to your trading strategies. You are disciplined to not take FOMO trades. You are disciplined to understand the market and to not play off your emotions, to not play off your reactions, but to play with what the market is giving objectively. The market doesn't give a shit about you. So always take that into consideration whenever you're playing these plays, is that you're just riding a wave of rich people and you're taking what you can and you're dipping, right? And that's what we're trying to do here. This is the play. That was my analysis, and my thesis is if we get an indication correction here and continuation, I would buy within the equilibrium zone, within the discount range, and I would start targeting local highs on the 1 hour time frame. And I predict it would take about this long. All right, so this is all going into one recording, and I'm pretty sure I made a play that would set me up to TP around here. I don't know where that stop loss was, but I think that was all yesterday. And dude, I'm gonna say some sad shit right now. I made 3 trades since yesterday, and that is the biggest mistake I've ever made, right? Oh my god, bro. I had to change my chart patterns, chart colors too, because I was focused too much on the wicks when I was trying to educate myself on what to look for. Wicks are fine, but I'm trying to curate my strategy ICC to where I can see candles better, right? I'm frustrated because it went exactly where I wanted it to go. We were stopped out of a trade here. Like, I think around here, we were stopped out of a, no. Yeah, we were stopped out of a trade right here. My stop loss was 383. Bro, you cannot make this shit up. 383. You cannot make this shit up. I don't know if you can see that. Right? And like, seeing it now, like, it is what it is, right? But here's the thing. I knew before all this happened that this uptrend would only continue to fill this gap and then take on local highs. I knew that. I called that out. What stuns me is that this fucking SL is what caught me off. It made me trade 3 times. I basically panic traded, right? And that's my fault. I'm literally documenting this to say it's my fault. And that's the story with trading, is that it's always going to be your fault. You got to own up to your mistakes. You got to be accountable for all the decisions you make. Every loss you hit, it's your loss. It's your fault. And guess what? It's the same thing on the other side. If you win, it's your fault you won. So you deserve to win, just like how you deserve to lose. I was reflecting so hard on this just 10 minutes ago. Like, bro, I get so close to winning, but I just fuck myself over every single time. And this movement right here, I was fucking playing games when this happened. And I was like, okay, well, let's see what happens with, you know, the chart. Let's see if it keeps swinging around, consolidating. And I completely missed this because I was gaming. And I completely missed this because I was gaming. So, moral of the story is, if the setup is there, don't fucking distract yourself. Like, lock the fuck in, right? No. Right here was when I distracted myself. This entire movement, price action, was me just dilly-dallying, just being on the game, right? And I always get on myself because when I'm in the middle of work, I'm like, dude, I could be doing trades right now. You know what I mean? I'd be in the middle of work for this or some shit. And keep in mind, all my trades are not during New York Open. I do all these trades during Asian hours or Asia hours, or specifically like after 5 p.m. Central. So from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Those are my operating hours for trading, right? And if you're trading like that, you might as well be swing trading because most of the activity comes from morning sessions, so New York Open. And if you're a person who has the time in the morning, you can pretty much kill a lot of trades quickly, like more so in the morning, right? But depending on your strategy, depending on how you apply yourself when it comes to trading, you can still be as effective throughout the day, right? I think it comes down to the person, but personally, I think swing trading is effective under any time frame as long as you can get the setup, find your targets, set up reasonable stop losses, right? And make sure that if you're targeting highs, you chop, right? If you have the time to chop. If you don't have time, you set up chopping, right? So you set up TPs here, like all the way up, right? My mistake here was, I think it was around here where I sold. So it hits as stop loss. I made 3 trades. So I think at one point I thought it was going to go down here because I was like, oh, let me put it back up. I was like, oh, we had an indication here and an indication here. No, motherfucker. It's just one indication. Swing high, swing low, indication, correction. And we're sweeping. And this is a common, super common trading identification sort of thing. So like makes highs, sweeps sellers, because remember this is the swing high, sweeps sellers, sweeps buyers, sweeps all the selling points, so it takes out everyone and then just fucking sends. Like that's market fundamentals 101, and I fucking whiffed it. I was like, indication here, indication here. No, motherfuckers. Swing high, swing low. Alright. Market rejects, sweeps out the highs, rejects, sweeps out the lows, rejects, comes back here. I should have been scoping in here and been like, okay, 5-minute candle. We already made indications that the market, that buyers want to keep buying. All right, see, this is like the trailer for what's about to happen. This is the news that like, oh, it's probably not going to happen, which is taking out everybody, right? It took out these people over here. It took out these people over here. So sweep, making higher lows, right? Market's literally hovering above this zone. So higher lows, sweeps again and again, breaks out, comes back. Really, you could have bought right here. This is really the point where I should have bought, right? Because it's making a higher low. Bought right here because you're buying off the correction to continuation. Continuation happens. Selling, stop loss would be right here. We do a 4-to-1 trade. It can be a 4-to-1 trade. Let's say I bought here and stop loss, like I said, was here. Really could do it here, right? Because like, what is it? No. Sorry, right here is where I would have done it. And then 4-to-1, literally 4-to-1 ratio. Look at this fucking ratio, bro. I'm fucking pissed. I did this to myself, bro. So now what's the opportunity here? Like, what are we looking at? You know, I'm going to erase this. I'm going to wait. No point in trading. We want to know with this week's trade, because we're not in any positions, we want to know where the market's going now, right? So we made these highs. Great. This is a trend. I want to see some pullback. I want to see structure. I want to see swing highs, swing lows. What should that look like? We'll probably get something that, like, something around here, if not here. So like a little bit of a story. And then we're going to see whether or not we want to make a trade. If it's to the upside again, then we're targeting these highs. And this is where I'd want to make the next trade, low-key. Like low-key, this one right here, I would want to make trades here. If we continue to make highs, so if we consolidate, create structure, and then just fucking break out once again, that could set us up for another heap of a play. High key. Like Boom. Another 4-to-1 trade, TBH. You know what I mean? So what does this look like? This looks like shit. This looks like fucking close to New Year's. This is what it looks like. But yeah, this is just to document my trading journey. Like, I was right, but I got in my own way. Therefore, I was wrong. I was right, but I was wrong. Which is like, as close as you can get. You're always going to be wrong until you're right. So fucking, when it comes to trading, like, get that shit down. You know, Bitcoin might be volatile, but the strategy still works with every asset with major institutional adoption. Don't ever give up. If you're fucking years in deep like me, don't ever give up. I have nothing else to say. We'll catch up more once we see more structure. More videos will come out once we see more of a story, and then we'll go from there. But yeah.